Hello there, welcome to the CTW News Channel. Italy and Spain are going through one of the most difficult times in the histories of their ceramic industries, with huge challenges regarding to the status of body raw materials and problems with natural gas. China is also facing big problems with the raise of cost of raw materials, gas limitation, pandemic restriction, and internal real estate challenges. What is going to happen in the near future? What should we expect the future to look like? How to overcome these challenges? Today, we are very pleased to have Mr. Humberto Valles on our show, who is the General Manager of Interceramic in China and traveling and living in China for the past 20 years. Hello, Mr. Humberto. Please say hello to our audience.
Good afternoon. So nice to be here once again with you.
Thank
in
you.
This interesting interview that we're going to have and share some information with the audience.
Yes, as an American Mexican who understands China and the world ceramic industry very well, I'm sure you have your own opinion regarding the issue I mentioned at the beginning with a very special perspective. Okay, let's get started. First of all, we have some questions about what's left in the world ceramic industry. So we are wondering, how is the situation in Italy and Spain, and what are they doing to overcome these difficult times?
The ceramic industry in both countries, Italy and Spain, are facing big challenges due to two main things. And both are related to the conflict there is now between Russia and Ukraine. And the problem is that Ukraine used to be the main supplier of very important raw materials and clays to the ceramic industry in Italy and Spain. Mm-hmm. And also, as you know, the world has been affected also because of this situation and this conflict with energy and oil crisis and price increases to the point that the industry had to adopt some emergency measures. The cost of the gas was so high that in Italy was even forced to stop for a few weeks because otherwise there will be huge losses because of the super increase in the cost of production. The other thing related to the raw materials is that they had to find replacement raw materials very quickly from countries like Turkey and India. But the cost is higher, and maybe the quality of those raw materials are maybe not as good as they were from Ukraine, forcing the industry to make adjustments to their processes in order to keep making the same quality tile. So very challenging times. The cost is going up. The demand is high in the world for the products from Italy and Spain, and they have to adjust all these things and to keep their demand satisfied in the world.
Okay, so as far as you know, do you see some trends on their products this year as your Chisai is coming, right?
Well, recently we saw the end of the Milan fair. Yeah. I still do not have precise information of the trends. All I know is that people keep talking about big improvements in how the products are finished.
So how's the development of the ceramic industry in North America? Are the ceramic manufacturers are facing the same difficulties as the peers in Europe are experiencing right now?
There are some similarities. Actually, just last night I had a long conversation with the Vice President of Interceramic USA. As you know, we have a big operation in the United States market in Mexico. No? But in the case specific of North America or USA, he was telling me that the challenges they have are due obviously to the increase of the price of the energy, obviously related to the price of the oil, and the lack of specialized labor people to operate the factories. The demand exists, there's a very high demand, but the domestic manufacturers have not been able to satisfy the demand. And now it's very difficult with the logistics that countries from, let's say, Spain, Italy, Turkey, or India or Mexico to move the material to the United States because of the super high cost of transportation, either sea transportation or ocean transportation or land transportation because of the increase of the cost of oil. So the situation is similar in some ways. There's no more problems with the pandemic, but they have super high demand. So the challenges are similar in some way and different in many others.
Okay, so the world is well interconnected. How is this affecting or not affecting other ceramic industry of the different manufacturing countries?
Well, in general, the rest of the manufacturers of the world are feeling this energy crisis in different ways in the world. And obviously, I think the biggest change that we have seen in the past couple of years is when the case of anti-dumping between USA and China was happening, and China at some point stopped exporting to the United States. Other countries took advantage of this situation and started exporting a lot to the United States, and some more than others.
Okay, so how do you think the different manufacturing countries are going to reunite with this event that are happening once this is over?
Yesterday, Vice President of Interceramic USA shared some numbers with me. Very interesting because he said that only 28% of the consumption is made in USA. So 72% is imported. And of the 72%, after China, let's say, left the United States market, the three countries that benefited the most were Spain, India, and Turkey. They took the biggest pieces of the pie. And I think fourth place was Mexico and Brazil. So Spain, that at some point in time was going through a very extremely difficult time, now is enjoying this realignment and is doing actually very well, except for the challenges that they are facing recently.
Okay, so how about Italy? As I know, Italy is also exporting most of their ties to other countries.
Well, Italy, as you know, is the main country that where we get all the trends and so on, and the demand of Italian tile is there. I was speaking to the president of one of the big brands in Italy the other day. Actually, it's our partner from ABK. He was saying that they also have huge demand for the internal market, European markets, and also the USA, and they just are having difficulty keeping up, trying to keep up with this demand. And the challenges they have, like I said, the cost is going up, and they're doing their best to not raise the prices too much. They sacrifice a little bit of their margin in order to keep the market share.
So maybe some of their production lines have to stop as the cost is increasing.
They stopped for a while when the cost of oil went to the roof.
Okay.
They stopped for a couple of weeks, but during this time, the Italians were taking advantage to also do some maintenance to their lines and to make them more efficient, energy efficient. So people is paying a lot of attention to that, even here in China. I recently had a conversation with some friends and a manufacturer, domestic Chinese, and there's a lot of attention that the companies are paying to the energy conservation.
Okay, so they're also normal right now, right? In Italy and Spain.
Yeah, there's high demand. The factories are working. They don't want to lose market share. They are operating at 100%, even though still the price of the oil and gas is high, so increasing. So they, like I said, they're sacrificing the margin, but keeping their factories busy.
Okay, thanks. So you have mentioned many times in other speeches and articles that time of crisis are also times of opportunities. What kind of opportunities you see in these difficult times?
I have heard so many great stories, that when there's time for crisis, how different leading brands do things when you don't expect the companies to do anything, no? Because most of the companies just stop and relax and do nothing until the difficult times pass, you know? But the leading companies never stop innovating and creating opportunities, like I said, like for energy conservation or innovating in product design and doing testing to testing of different things to make them, you know, better.
Okay. So who is taking advantage of these opportunities?
Well, it's usually the companies that are very creative and very innovative and that I guess understand better the future and the trends and what is coming and paying attention to those things and making better products, making their factories more efficient. And when the things get better, because of the actions they took during these difficult times, once everything is back to normal, then obviously they are in a much better position than their competitors.
Okay. Well, I also have some questions about the Chinese market. So, what are the most important changes have you seen in China in the past 3 years?
Well, that's a very interesting question. What question you are asking, and it's something that would be very interesting for the audience that has not been able to come to China for the past almost 3 years or a little more, no? And I can tell you that the industry in the past 3 years has changed more than in the past 20. And there's so many changes and advancements of the industry that have happened that is just incredible and to understand and to process even when you're here. So I think the people, when they get the chance to come back to China again, maybe next year, they just would not believe what is or what has happened in this country in regards to manufacturing, technology, showrooms, sizes, new factories, new lines, new slab factories. It's just simply amazing.
So can you explain in more details these top changes in the Chinese ceramic industry, like the slab manufacturing and the improvement on how the products are finished, and also the market showroom, as you mentioned
yes,
before?
I think many people know now, especially if you are from the industry, that China became the largest slab manufacturer in the world. So in the past 3 years, China built almost like 100 new slab lines. No? So that's no news for most of the people that are in this industry. What is interesting about the slab manufacturing is that now most of the equipment that is installed here, or a lot of the equipment that is installed here, is Italian equipment.
Yes.
That didn't happen before. So the new lines are System or SACMI or CT, and that's pretty amazing. As a matter of fact, I have visited a few of them in the past few months, and they are simply amazing because they are world-class level, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are even the best slab lines in the world.
So how about the improvement on the product finished?
The product finish has done also an amazing change, an amazing improvement. Before, we know China has been for many years very good at polishing the tiles at a very reasonable cost, no? And they usually have difficulty making matte finishes. But because of the better use of raw materials and glazes and the digital machine, I mean, the finishes are simply amazing. I mean, very comparable to the Italian or the Spanish. I would say at the same level. And in some cases, they have come up with new matte finishes that are, I mean, the best in the world. It's simply amazing, this transformation, especially on the non-polished finished goods.
So we are also talking about the market showrooms. You also visit a lot of cities in China. So how do you feel about the showroom improvement?
I made a trip about 3 years ago with people from the industry not related to our brand. So we visited some media people. And 2 or 3 years, I think it was more almost 4 years ago, I told them that China was going to be eventually a reference for the world not only in products. It's already a reference in many of the products that they make, big sizes and so on. But the showrooms were never mentioned. And I told them, based on what I saw 4 years ago, that China was going to become a reference to the world in design, in the showroom design, not only on making large size products at good pricing. And recently, I just came back just a few days ago. I went to 3 different cities, Chongqing, big, huge city. I saw a new Red Star market, and what I saw confirmed what I said 4 years ago. I'm absolutely certain that the best showrooms in the world are in China now. I am totally convinced, and like I said, when those ceramic people from Spain or Italy get the chance to come to China and see what I'm saying, which they usually don't because they come to the manufacturing places like here in Foshan, but they get the chance to explore other cities like Shanghai, Beijing, or Chongqing, Shenzhen. You will be able to see this. And the best showrooms in the world are built now in China, not only by some of the domestic brands, but for sure some of the international brands that have operations in this market. I mean, the usual suspects are the ones that have been the longest in this market, like Imolas and the Atlas Concord and Marazzis and ABKs, and they have been long time in this market. No, the showrooms they have with their partners from China are simply amazing. No, I've been to some of their showrooms in Italy or Spain, and the ones that are being built here are just incredible. And they're not just 1 or 2; they have hundreds of 50 or 80 or 100 or 200 in the most important cities in China.
So it seems that Chinese ceramic players have put a lot of energy on the showroom design.
What I try to explain my colleagues from Mexico and USA is that I made a comparison to a movie that I saw. I said, this happened when you were sleeping. It's like this transformation happened and you didn't even notice that was happening because you didn't get the chance to be here and see it with your own eyes. It's been so much and so incredibly good that when they get the chance, they will be extremely surprised with what they are going to see.
Okay, why does that happen? Because the competition in China is very fierce?
The competition in China has always been fierce, But what is most interesting is maybe in the past was fierce with volume and sales, but nowadays is fierce more in things that are also very important or even more important in design and innovation and showrooms and so on. So it's very interesting this transformation, and even with the competitors, let's say from India, that were dominating the slab world for a while with their volume and their new factories. Well, that's been a thing of the past because China built these 100 plus or new lines of slabs. But along with that, the upgrade of all the infrastructure in regards to corporate showrooms and market showrooms using the big size slabs, starting from 90-180 and up, larger sizes, 1.6, 3.2, and even a little bit bigger than that.